today's topic is going to open our eyes, and more specifically, to that important connection we have that enables us to have that quality of sleep every time we go to bed. There is a connection between our vibration and the vibration of the universe. And this is what we are going to get to understand today so that we can see how we can have the quality of sleep that we need in order for our bodies and brains to be renewed, rewired, and repaired and healed. Everyone has trouble sleeping at some point in our life, whether it is because of parenthood issues or a noisy environment or general anxiety. But insomnia is a condition which makes it difficult to fall asleep at night, and it can be frustrating when the cause isn't clear. Now, according to the Global Statistics of Insomnia 2023, it has been found out that 75% of adults suffer from lack of sleep, and 23% of them due to stress and anxiety. Stress and anxiety, stress and anxiety. And a third of the general population suffers from insomnia, and 43% of the people aged 65 and above experience sleep difficulties. Now let's look at what contributes to our quality of sleep at night, and it can be broken down into 4 categories. The first category is mental, where we have racing thoughts in the mind that keep us from sleeping very well. And that comes from an overstimulated nervous system due to stress during the day. The second category is of emotions. When we have those unprocessed emotions, those disowned emotions that are not processed well before we go to bed. The third category is the physical body. When we have imbalances in our body due to hormones. And the fourth category is behavior. Those lifestyles, those choices that we make that could end up preventing us from having that quality sleep. The underlying root cause of what compromises our quality of sleep is rooted in the understanding of our nature. Understanding that there is always that cosmic dance between our biological bodies and the rhythms of nature, the earth, the solar systems, the galaxies, and the constellations. And this cosmic dance happens within us. It happens around us when we are awake during the day and when we are asleep at night as well. And our quality of sleep depends on what we experience during the day. When we are awake during the day, and most specifically, if we are awake to the life of the cosmic dance that is taking place between us and our bodies and the cosmos. Are we truly awake to the life given to us by this cosmic dance? Or are we simply having our eyes open during the day, but we are still in slumber, not awakened to life? Are we awake to the rhythms of nature that are in alignment with our bodily rhythms every single moment we breathe in and out? Are we aware that every time we go to sleep at night, we do not wake up the same person as we went to bed at night? When we sleep and wake up, we do not wake up the same person that went to bed at night. And why is that? Because sleep is the tool that is used to rejuvenate and transform us to become a new possibility and to become more awakened to life and get out of slumber and be awakened to what is happening in our bodies and be awakened to what is happening to the environment around us that contributes to our sleep. The truth is, most of us are not awake to life. We simply exist. If we were more awake to life during the day, then sleep at night becomes more rejuvenating, more repairing, more renewing, and more healing. We perceive life and the world differently when we are awake to life and out of slumber. When we are awake to the sun and the stars and the mysteries of the universe and the rhythms within our bodies affected by the constellations and the stars and sun around us. And these have more to do with our daily lives. And these are the natural cycles of light and dark that occurs on Earth as it rotates on its axis. Earth's rotation on its axis and us tuning our awake and sleep around that order, our bodies will move in rhythmic waves. And the daily biological life of wakefulness and sleep is called the circadian rhythms that help us to give that beautiful, rejuvenating sleep. And these biological rhythms are the resonance of the rhythms of Earth and in relationship to the entire cosmos, the sun, and the stars. This life is reflected in the daily rise and fall of the sun. And this provides the primary cue to our circadian rhythm. Listen to this very attentively. The universe is a symphony of the stars. And when our rhythms are in sync with the rhythms of nature, life explodes through us effortlessly when we are asleep. And we are never the same when we wake up because we have a new lease to life. We have a new lease to our genes, and we have a new lease to our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. And that is holistic health. And therefore, light during the day is the most important external factor that affects our sleep at night. The link between light and sleep goes even much far deeper. Light plays a role in regulating the circadian rhythms and the body's internal clock that signals when to be alert, when to rest and sleep. This light also affects the production of melatonin, and melatonin is an essential sleep-promoting hormone. Now, in response to darkness, the pineal gland initiates the production of this melatonin, but when we are exposed to light, that production is halted. So, what we have talked about so far, are we beginning to get a sense of what it is that gives us quality of sleep? It's not only the connection of our bodily rhythms with the cosmic dance, it also matters a lot when we have to understand this neurotransmitter known as melatonin. Melatonin levels increase when we are feeling drowsy, when we feel the need to rest. And this is what facilitates sleep. And the daily cycles of melatonin production normalize our circadian rhythms and reinforce a stable sleep-wake schedule. Daily light exposure, and especially the type of light that we see in the sun, is critical to help us to fall asleep at night. We receive it during the day, it resets our rhythms, and then it helps us to fall asleep at night. Are you aware that we spend approximately a third of our lives asleep? If we are meant to sleep 8 hours out of 24? And sleep is seen as a time when the body is not active, but that is not true. Sleep is an active and essential process without which we cannot function very well. And the human brain is the most active during sleep than during the day. Our brain resets while we sleep, and our body is restored while we sleep. Our brain not only strengthens memories, but it also reorganizes them. Now that we look at the cosmic dance and how it affects our sleep patterns, and we look at the role of light in the production of melatonin, let us look at one other factor. What sleeping position do you use when you are asleep at night? It matters a lot the sleeping position we use and which direction we face as we sleep. A good sleeping position, along with that good quality of sleep throughout the night, relaxes the spine and muscles. And research has found out that our sleeping positions matter, and some sleeping positions are more beneficial than others. But we must understand that no one sleep position fits it all, but the best option for an individual depends on a particular health issue. Now let's begin with sleeping on our back. Sleeping on our back is the second most common position to sleep in, and it is called the supine position. The spine stays elongated, and it is a natural healthy position while sleeping on our back. The individuals with spinal pain or neck pain may find relief in this position because they have the proper support, and they may wake up with less stiffness and the pain reduced. However, this position is not beneficial for people who suffer with snoring. And this back position leads to the airway to collapse, and it tends to worsen the symptoms of people who snore. And it is also not advised for pregnant women and older adults because sleeping on the back worsens acidity. Now let us look at sleeping on the side. When we sleep on the side, this is the common sleep position among us adults. And side sleeping is considered healthy for several reasons because it keeps the spine aligned and relatively neutral. And it is comfortable for people with lower back pain and neck pain if they support their knees with a pillow in between their knees. And it helps provide support for the hips and pelvis. Sleeping on the left side, the stomach is lower than the esophagus, and this alleviates the acid reflux and heartburn, and it boosts digestion. And it stimulates the drainage of toxins from the lymph nodes and improves circulation and helps the brain to filter the waste material within our system. Sleeping on the left side makes it easier for blood to flow in and around the heart. How about sleeping on the right side? Sleeping on the right side can ease pain on the internal organs and may make the heartburn, and acid reflux symptoms worse. Now let us look at people who sleep on the stomach. Sleeping on the stomach is also known as the prone position. And it is the most unhealthy position to sleep in. Why? It might be helping with snoring. However, the spine is least supported, and it increases the pressure of the spinal tissues, and we could wake up in the morning feeling some pain. Now, apart from the sleeping position, let us also look at the direction that is beneficial when we are sleeping, the direction of our bed and the direction of our head. Sleeping with the head towards the south promotes relaxation sound sleep. The east direction is where we receive positive energy and good health. However, sleeping with the head towards the north or west is discouraged because it disrupts the body's magnetic field and could lead to disturbed sleep. Now, let us look at the slide that has our content, the content of what we are going to be looking at today. Our content today, we are going to look at the neurology of sleep and the stages of sleep and the brainwaves. We are also going to be looking at how our body responds when we are deprived of sleep. We are also going to look at what happens to our body as we are asleep. We are going to look at the circadian rhythms and emotions. We are also going to look at the brain areas involved in sleep. And then we are also going to see how we can turn off our brain and fall asleep faster and better. So let's begin with the slide that shows the first topic that we are going to be looking at. And this is the neurology of sleep and the stages of sleep and brain waves. When we have to understand the neurology of sleep, we need to understand the brain waves that affect our quality of sleep. Renewal and healing of the body and brain occurs when we tune into the earth's rhythms and the frequency during sleep. We have to choose to vibrate at the same vibration as the earth to keep our brain and body functioning effectively. And earth behaves like a giant electric circuit, and its electromagnetic field surrounds and protects all living things, including our body and our brain. The natural frequency of earth is alpha wave, and it is called the Schumann resonance. And our human body and brain, we reach their ultimate potential and health when we are vibrating at the same frequency as Earth, which is alpha. Now, when we focus more on our brain is an electrical activity of the brain waves beta, alpha, theta, delta, and gamma. And these waves are ranging from the fastest with low amplitude, beta waves, to the slowest and high amplitude, delta brain waves. And the higher the frequency, the lighter and heavier we are. And this is associated with alpha, theta, delta, and gamma. And the lower the frequency, the denser our energy and the heavier our problems may be, and that is because of beta. And according to metaphysics, certain frequencies repel and destroy disease. When parts of the body become distressed, they no longer are vibrating at a frequency that is high to protect us. So in order to establish our frequency, we have to know how lower and higher vibrations affect our energy and our health. As our frequency drops due to environmental, physiological factors, our immune system is compromised. So let us look at these brain waves and see what each of them is telling us. The beta brain wave is the wave that we experience in our brain when we are awake. And it is the fastest with low amplitude and low vibrational frequency. It is when we are in a state of alertness, arousal, and attention. It is that brain wave we are in when we are in fight, flight response. It is our busy, active mind, the concentrated thoughts, the higher mental arousal, and unfortunately, most of us spend the majority of our lives in beta state, alert and stressed out. And when we are stressed, it lowers our immunity, leading to illness and to disease, and healing is compromised when we spend most of our time in the beta brain wave frequency. The alpha brain wave is when we are relaxed, like when we are in a calm state of meditation or in prayer or in relaxed, easy conversation or watching a presentation, and when we are drifting off into sleep. Now, the theta wave is what we experience when we are dozing off and we are moving into theta from alpha. And this is a state of daydreaming, and it is what we feel as we begin to doze off. When we begin to feel our head dozing off, we are in theta. Now, the delta brain wave is that brain wave that we experience when we are in the dreamless state while we sleep. And it is that brainwave state that we are in that is responsible for creating and releasing the growth hormone, serotonin, and DHEA for estrogen and testosterone when we are asleep. And gamma is the most beneficial brainwave. It is that brainwave for a healthy mind. It is nature's best antidepressant, where we feel contented, calm, and at peace, where we have heart and brain coherence. And it has those emotions of universal compassion, altruism, spiritual growth and spiritual understanding, creativity in our inner talent, photographic memory. And within it, we feel the feelings of bliss, the feelings of feeling blessed, that warmth of oneness, and we lose a sense of self and we melt into the universal higher consciousness. It is that state where we experienced increased mental processing, happiness, where we have better perception of senses, a better perception of our reality, incredible focus, better self-control, food tastes better, and we have a powerful sense of smell, vision and hearing are sharpened, and our natural intelligence is enhanced, and we have phenomenal memory power. Now, how are these 4-5 brain waves distributed as we fall asleep in the different brain wave states and the different sleep of stages. When we are awake, we are in beta. When we get to bed and we are holding a book and we are reading, we are getting into lower beta. As we close our eyes, we are getting into alpha. And now we are ready to get into stage 1 of sleep. Stage 1 of sleep is that shallow sleep that produces both alpha waves and theta waves, and it lasts less than 10 minutes. And with alpha wave state, it is still easy to wake from stage 1 sleep. When we get into stage 2 sleep, we are in light sleep and alpha stops, and theta brain waves predominate. And when the theta brain waves predominate, we are into light dream sleep. And theta waves are interrupted by brief bursts of activity known as sleep spindles. And these are rapid bursts of higher frequency energy where we feel that we are learning new memory as we are in that sleep. And it also reduces our response to the outside stimuli. Consciousness is getting slower. And we are having a lot of dreaming during this stage because we have to process what was not processed during the day while we are asleep. Then as we get into stage 3, we are getting into the deep sleep where it is the delta state of sleep. And in this sleep, we are able to produce growth hormone that is going to help us have ageless appearance and restore our brain and body. Now, as we get to stage 4, in the first 3 stages, our brains have been slowly sinking from beta to alpha and to theta. But as we get to stage 4, all of a sudden, our brains shoot up to beta and gamma brain fast waves. And that is why the 4th stage is known as the active sleep, because when we are in that state, our brain is almost as if it is awake, but we are very much asleep. And that is why our muscles get paralyzed so that we don't act out what we are dreaming about because our limbs cannot move at all. Now, after explaining these sleep stages and the brain waves, we have to understand that in order to get that quality of sleep, we have to be able to get to bed after having regulated our nervous system. Because during the day, our nervous system can be overstimulated. And when our nervous system is overstimulated during the day, that means that we have more beta in our system when we are asleep. And when we have more beta brain waves, it means that we will have less alpha waves. And that means that we are not going to relax very well in our sleep. We'll be constantly waking up all the time. And when we have less alpha waves, it means that we will need more theta sleep brain waves in order to process all those emotions, all that mental clutter that was not well processed during the day. More theta brain waves as we process our dreams takes a lot of energy from us. And when we are drained and depleted of that energy, that means that when we get to the delta doorway of sleep, we are not going to get enough delta. Therefore, we are not going to get enough replenishing of the body and brain because we'll have less production of the growth hormone that is going to be responsible for renewing our brain and body. So we need to do something to be able to restore and replenish our nervous system before we go to bed. And there are 4 things we need to do. First and foremost, we need to work on the racing mind. And 2, we need to calm the system during the day so that we may work on our emotions, those emotions that we have felt, those emotions that we have disowned, so that we can be able to be at peace with our emotions before we go to bed. And 3, we need to transform the underlying physical imbalances in our body. And 4, we need to make sure that our behaviors, our lifestyle support what we are going to do when we are going to sleep so that we can have a beneficial sleep that is very, very restoring. As we look at our second topic, sleep-deprived body and brain, when we sleep less, we are less hormone. So when we look at that slide of our second presentation, sleep hygiene describes how our lifestyle and our environmental factors affect our sleep and may help to improve our sleep quality or make our sleep quality poor. Caffeine, alcohol, and nicotine are all substances which impair our quality of sleep. Caffeine makes it harder to sleep and it overstimulates the central nervous system. Alcohol can help some people to fall asleep, but it also impairs sleep quality during the second half of the night because we keep on waking up to go to the toilet. So, what happens when we sleep poorly? How is our body compromised when we are not giving it enough sleep? Lack of sleep affects our metabolism negatively. And one night of poor sleep leads to a 15% increase in our hunger hormone. And lack of sleep also means a lowered level of melatonin, and inadequate sleep increases cortisol levels, and it leads to a breakdown of muscle and increases the susceptibility of our internal organs. Sleep quality is paramount to our health, and fatigue is the most common problem associated with poor sleep. Memory loss, depression, frustration, and weak immune systems are also results of having poor sleep. Poor sleep also increases the risk of poor mental health. A prolonged period of stress or worry can also seriously affect our ability to sleep. Anxiety and depression are common causes of chronic insomnia, and people who suffer from depression may experience sleep disturbances, disrupting the falling and staying asleep process. All in all, lack of sleep has a negative effect on our mood, our energy, our concentration, and our personal relationship. Oversleeping can occur in some people who suffer from depression, But oversleeping may also cause problems linked to physical health problems such as diabetes and heart disease. Getting to our third topic today, sleep's intelligence and renewal of the brain and the body as we sleep. We are going to be looking at the 8 amazing things our brain does while we sleep. And this will be our third topic for today. And one of the things that the body does and the brain does while we are asleep, this sleep intelligence, that is our third topic on the slide that is going to be displayed to you. It shows the 8 amazing things that sleep does while we are asleep. And the first one, sleep eases pain and anxiety and reduces stress as we sleep. When we are asleep, endorphins are released because endorphins are the body's natural painkillers. And when we are asleep and they are released, we feel less pain. Number 2, sleep helps us create memories and regulate emotions. Number 3, the brain goes through different stages while we sleep, and we've already seen that. Number 4, sleep boosts energy, which is critical to the communication between the nerve cells and neurons, and sleep re-energizes our body and brain cells. Number 5, sleep removes toxins from our brain and boosts immunity. When we are at rest, the body filters out toxins and clears damaged molecules better than when we are awake. And this process allows the body and brain to rejuvenate. And without sufficient sleep, the brain is unable to remove the toxins. And this may lead to increase in neurological deterioration, and these waste products accumulate as our brain cells use energy. So sleeping reinforces the removal of this waste. And when this waste is not removed, it can lead to dementia. Number 6, sleep helps to increase particular hormones that are important for the repair and renewal of our body and brain. And these are the growth hormone that supports bone, muscle development, and metabolism, and also those hormones that are good for our youthful radiance. Number 7, sleep is responsible for our youthful, ageless appearance. And lastly, sleep supports our body's natural pharmacy to heal our body and brain and protect DNA from damage. Why? Because as we sleep, painkillers or endorphins are produced, and tranquilizers like GABA and glycine are in motion to help us into the alpha and theta brain waves. And sleep induces melatonin, it boosts energy, and 99% of the atoms in our body were not here a year ago, because as we sleep, we give an opportunity for a new skeletal muscle, our new internal cells, new brain, new stem cells, new liver, a new cervix, new lungs, new DNA, new bones, a new heart over a period of time that it takes in order for our body to be healed and protected. On our fourth topic, we look at the slide that talks about the circadian cycles and emotions. And in this slide, you are going to understand negative emotions. And we will understand that this cosmic dance that we were talking about, our sleep and awake cycles that affect our mood, are controlled by the sleep-wake cycle. When our sleep-wake cycle is not optimized, we will be moody, we will be irritable, and we will be struggling with maintaining positive energy. Our fifth topic talks about the brain areas involved in sleep. And this is on our fifth topic. And the brain areas involved in sleep are the amygdala, the hypothalamus, the brainstem, and the pineal gland. And we have already seen that the pineal gland produces melatonin. And we have also seen that the amygdala is involved in processing emotions and in forming good memories. When we go to our last topic, turning off our brain and falling asleep faster and better, we are going to look at the slide that shows our last topic. And our last topic, topic 6, is about turning off our brain in order to fall asleep faster and better. Let us share the slide that has topic 6. We have already seen that low vibrational frequencies are not good for our health and body. And we need to be in high vibrational frequencies in order to be able to have maximum and optimum health of mind and body. Vibrational frequencies are spiritual energies. And low vibrational frequencies are energies associated with negative emotions. And low vibrational energy is an energy frequency associated with negativity, such as sadness, anger, sluggish thinking, constant fatigue, anxiety, resentment, jealousy, apathy, desperation, unfulfillment, confusion, extreme fatigue, backbiting or rumor mongering, bitterness, complaining, and unforgiveness. On the other hand, high vibrational frequencies are associated with happiness, positivity, joy, peace, love, inspiration. When we are vibrating at higher frequencies, we feel lighter, we feel more at ease, and we feel joy and love, and we create high vibrational frequencies. In order for us to have that quality of sleep, let us listen to this very attentively. Never go to bed in low, dense vibrational frequencies. Never go to bed in low, dense vibrational frequencies. And before we go to bed, we need to overcome the 4 sleep challenges. We have to be able to get to sleep. We have to be able to stay asleep, and we have to be able to have that quality of sleep and be able to enjoy our sleep. We are living in an energy field, and our body is composed of energy producing particles, and each particle is in constant motion. Everything is in the universe is vibrating and creating energy to generate electromagnetic energy waves. Everything, atom, thought, emotion, is constantly vibrating at a unique speed that determines our vibrational energy. So this electromagnetic field in our body stimulates chemical processes to cause changes in our cells and influence our health while we sleep. High vibrations are associated with good health, while low vibrations are associated with negativity and with physical ailments and disease. So, making lifestyle changes can help adjust our vibrational frequency and bring us into alignment. Thoughts and emotions affect the rhythms in our body. Anxious thoughts trigger the release of the stress hormone. It is possible to raise our vibration or lower it by changing our thoughts, our emotions, and our surroundings, and especially preparing our bed room in readiness for us to sleep. So, how do we maintain a positive mindset before going to bed? We need to maintain a positive mindset before we go to bed. And we have tips to raise our vibrational frequency and maintain a high vibrational energy. And this includes practicing gratitude for the day's events, spending time in nature, surrounding ourselves with positive people, visualizing our ideal future, cleaning and organizing our space, especially the space of our bedroom, meditating or deep breathing exercises, avoiding negative news or social media before we go to sleep, eating nutritious foods, grounding ourselves and keeping in touch with Mother Earth and walking barefoot, especially for those last hours before we go to bed. And our personal environment always mirrors how we feel inside. How is your bedroom? Is it cluttered? Or is it ordered and inviting for a friendly and healthier sleep so that we can be able to create and rewire and have a healthy body and mind? I'm sure most of us are tired of tossing and turning at night. And these sleep hygiene tips will help us to fall asleep quickly, stay asleep longer, and be more energetic and productive during the day. And we'll be able to reduce stress and promote relaxation before bed. One, we can try to get to bed and get up at the same time every day. It is possible. Two, we can reduce caffeine, nicotine, and alcohol intake and shut off electronics before we go to bed. And three, we can create a relaxing bedtime routine, listen to relaxing music, dim the bedroom light, use the bedroom for sleep only. Not using the bedroom as your library, not using your bedroom as your work office, not keeping gadgets in the bedroom, and not watching TV in your bedroom. Number four, avoiding sleeping in, even on weekends. The more our weekday sleep schedules differ, the worse the jet lag-like symptoms we will experience. If we need to make up for the late night, let us opt for a daytime nap rather than sleeping in till 10 o'clock because today is Sunday or today is Saturday. This napping instead of sleeping in allows us to pay off our sleep debt without disturbing our natural sleep-wake rhythm. Number five, we have to get in tune with our body and mind through controlled deep breathing to calm the body and mind before falling asleep. And this can be done also when we wake up during the night and we find it difficult to get to sleep. Now, before we end this presentation, let us practice together this deep breathing that we can practice before we go to bed and when we wake up at night and we find ourselves unable to sleep again. And this is called the 4-7-8 sleep trick of controlled deep breath that reduces anxiety to help us fall asleep. And it involves a breathing in to the count of 4, holding the breath to the count of 7, and exhaling for the count of 8. Breathe in to the count of 4. Hold the breath for the count of 7. Breathe out to the count of 8. You can practice that for about 5 minutes, and you could even fall asleep before those 5 minutes elapse. Another sleep trick is to assume a comfortable position and relax each part of the face, such as the eyelids, relaxing the jaw, relax the brow, allow the arms to rest on the sides, dropping the shoulders, and begin taking deep breaths to relax the chest. Start relaxing the lower half, working our way from the hips down through each part of the leg to the feet. And visualize a peaceful setting to set the mind at ease. It could be a beautiful countryside. It could be a quiet lake. It could be a cozy room in your home. It could be an atmosphere in a breeze-filled forest. Visualize that. And when you experience any intrusive thoughts, recognize them and try to move beyond these images and get back to that peaceful setting you have chosen. Visualizing might be a bit difficult if we struggle to get relaxing images. And instead, we can use a simple phrase like, do not think. Simply surrender. Surrender to sleep. I surrender to sleep. I surrender to sleep. I surrender to sleep. And you may choose to verbalize it or let it be said in your mind. And as you say that, you'll feel yourself drop from low beta into relaxing alpha state. And before you know it, you will be dozing off and getting into theta. And now you will be ready to get into your first stage of sleep. I hope this presentation has been beneficial to you and you have learned how to relax your nervous system before you go to bed, so that the moment you close your eyes, you are descending from beta into alpha, into theta, and into delta, so that our body can get the opportunity to be renewed, and our mind and brain get an opportunity to be rewired and rejuvenated. Thank you for listening. Namaste. Have a beautiful sleep tonight. That quality of sleep that will enable you to rewire your brain and your body. Thank you so much for listening. Have a very good day. Thank you, and thank you. Namaste.